Hey guys, and welcome to my channel Planning with Bree. I'm Bree, and today I am going to be setting up 5 simple spreads for level 10 life. I'm just starting by creating a little bit of a header, I guess you could call this. I am just using one color for a lot of these spreads, which is this yellowish orange color. Y'all know how it is with Crayola. I'm actually thinking about numbering all of my markers. I thought about recording it, but it seems like it would be a pretty boring video unless I have something very interesting to talk about, which at the moment I can't think of anything. So so I'm using these 4 colors, and I usually for most of these spreads only used one, but for some of them I do use all 4. And the simplicity of these spreads, most of them, I'm sure every single one of you can do all 5 of these spreads. So the first thing I'm starting off with is a simple graph. So you want to number your vertical line, the y-axis, from 0 to 10. I chose to go by 2s, so every dot grid space is 2 spaces or 2 numbers, so that I could use less space. But you can feel free to use 1 dot grid space just for 1 point. So then on the bottom, the horizontal line, I am going to write the 4 things that I have been tracking for the last 6 months. That's what I would do. I am using these just as an example. I actually did not track all 4 of these, but I'm just using these because they were the first 4 things that I thought of. So if you don't know what level 10 is, I will explain it really quickly. You just pick categories in your life at which you want to live at your highest potential, which is at a level 10. These spreads that I'm doing right now can be for updates, like if you want to do a Q2 update, or if you just want to start. This is a great place to start your goals. You can use this as a page for reflection or goals. I kind of just repeated myself, but you guys get the picture. So for each section, I just drew the bar up as high as I needed to. First 15, I drew it all the way up to the 8, and then I colored it in. This one is really, really simple. I would also encourage you guys, like I am doing these as if this were a Q2 checkup. So this is a reflection spread. So then I would encourage you to leave some space for like Q3 goals. Maybe I would have a goal around journaling so that I could get that bar up a little higher next time. For the second spread, this one is probably the most simple. I could have done this one first, but you just draw a bar that is 10 dot grid spaces long and 1 dot grid space wide, and you just fill in the blocks. So if for Q2, if I had an 8 for first 15, I'm just going to color in the first 8 blocks. This one is actually really cute. You can do it up vertical. You can do circles, like individual circles. There are a lot of ways you can do this spread. As I said before, these are the simple versions of level 10 spreads, but I do have a video coming soon with creative versions of a level 10 spread. So I am just going to color in each one of these blocks with this yellow color. I did do another version where each topic was a different color just to spice it up, and that one turned out just as cute. The last thing I'm going to do is just create a fraction for each one of them so I know exactly what my point is for that category. And then again, I'm going to leave some space for Q3 goals. On to the next spread. I actually had some trouble with filming. For some reason, my phone decided that it didn't have enough storage to record everything. So this is my 3rd attempt to record spread 3. This next spread is going to be another graph, and it is a line graph. I would encourage you to do this spread if you have been tracking a certain category or a certain habit over a long period of time so that you have some data so that you could do this line graph. I have a video on my Q1 update, and I'll leave it in the description box as well as in the cards above. But in order to create the correct data for Q1, I'm going to use the scores that I used in that video. I'm going to use the scores for Q2, which is just a summary of the last 3 months. And then I am going to create 2 more points for Q3 goals and Q4 goals. Now, if you have not been doing this in quarters like I have, like in sections of 3 months, you can just go by the month. You can look at your habit trackers and just go by the last 6 months, and that would create a very, very nice line graph. So I only did 2 on this spread, but I did a spread with all 4, and you'll get a glimpse of that when I do the flip through of all 5 spreads. I did lose a little bit of footage, so that's the last clip that you can see for that spread. So sorry about that, guys. And now we're on to spread 4. For this spread, I am actually only going to do 2 categories. I did have someone in my comments last week mention that they would love to do level 10, but they think they only have about 2 categories that they could track. And I just said, well, of course you can do it with 2 categories. So this is my tribute to that commenter. I hope you're watching this video. So I'm just going to draw 2 circles. I used a washi tape to do the circles, and I'm going to use this as percentages. Right there, I was showing you where I would draw the line if that was 75%. But since this is the first 15 category, which is 80%, 8 out of 10 as a percent, I am just going to do a little bit more than that 75% mark. I hope that made sense. So the next category that I'm going to do is journaling, and that was a 5 out of 10, which is 50%. So I'm just going to draw in half of the circle. With these, I would just eyeball it. I did try to do them very, very meticulous and draw out 10 sections, and it just took way too much time. You can eyeball it, you know, it's not that crucial. So I like how these turned out as well. This is probably another very, very simple one. And this is very versatile. You don't need as many data points. You can do 1 all the way up to 10, 8 categories, however many categories you have. Since I had so much space left on this page, I did create another space or another topic for this spread, which is new habits to start. This is something that I would use to get my habit trackers or the habits for my habit trackers. Now for spread 5. This is probably the most meticulous, but it's still very simple. The first thing I do is count down from the top 10 spaces, and then I count from left to right and make sure I have 10 spaces on each side. I'm doing this because I am going to create some squares, basically, for each category. And I want to make sure that I have enough space for 10 levels. So in order to create these squares, I count up. Like right now, I'm about to do the level 3. So I'm going to count up 3. I'm going to draw a line out 3 spaces and then down 3 spaces. So for all of these, whichever level I'm on, I am basically creating the top corner of a square. I'm going to do it again in the bottom. This is a little hard to explain, so you can kind of just watch what I'm doing. I want the square to go out to the right and then down just as many times for that one in the top right hand corner. It gets a little simpler as you do them over and over again. And I actually just drew those lines so that you guys can see what I was doing, but I am going to erase them because I don't want them to show through the yellow marker that I'm using for these spreads. So I made this way more complicated than it has to be. You don't have to use the ruler. I actually gave up on using the ruler to color them in and just colored the squares in. So once I get done coloring them in, I am going to outline them and then label them with the topic as well as the point value. This is another spread that you could use as a reflection, as I'm doing. This is a reflection on Q2, or you could use this as a goals page. When I set up my 2022 bullet journal back in January, my first ever level 10 spread was a goals page. So they do work very, very well for those as well. You could use two spreads. You could use one of these spreads for your reflection and then one for the goals, or you could overlap them. And right here where I'm putting the number 8, like for where I actually am, if I wanted to be on a level 9, I would use another color and outline the outside of that box for one level. And then I would color code it so that I know that that was my goal. If you guys don't know what I'm talking about, I can do a short or something and put that up so that you can see it more clearly. So I'm going to finish this off with Q3 goals and a section for new habits to start. That is the end of this video, guys. I really hope that you enjoyed it. I hope you guys come back next week so that I can show you the 5 creative spreads for level 10 tracking. This is the finished product, guys. Please make sure to like, share, and subscribe. Bye.